City, Scott. We doing good? Day 3 here. How many of you guys were here all 3 days? That's almost everybody. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. How many, this is your only day here? For you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We have a very fun Q&A lined up. We will have a microphone right here for some of your questions. But we kind of need somebody out here to ask some questions too, right? I said we need somebody out here to ask some questions too, right? So with no further ado, please help me welcome Gray, DELISLE-GRIFFIN!
So treacherous. I trip on it all the time. It's like I'm trying to be mean and cool and bandit. I'm like, you're banished in the fire.
Is this what you wear to the airport?
Yeah, I have a cat sit underneath. Because meow, I'm Catwoman too. But I always wear like a little cat sit underneath so I can just take this off and I put my coat on and I'm ready.
And then you're ready to go.
Yes, it was like several parts, this outfit, and I took it to my dry cleaner and said, can you sew all these parts together and just put like an industrial zipper on the back? Because I've got to get in and out of this really quickly every weekend. So, yes.
Well, welcome to day 3 here in Minneapolis.
Hi, you guys. I recognize so many people from Milan. Yeah.
Is this your first time here in Minneapolis?
I don't think I've done a con here before. I don't think I have, but I have been here quite a bit because I have a house in Wisconsin and I always fly into Minneapolis. Yes.
What about Wisconsin?
Badger State. Yeah, and so I fly into Minneapolis and drive 3 hours to lacrosse. Yeah, and I just did like an appearance at a lacrosse comic book store because I was just in town, and people were just like so cool. It was so funny because I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, oh no, so my house is right there. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so weird. Everything changed when the fire nation attacked.
I know a lot of people have some questions for you, but I do want to talk about a few things. And that this next week is a very big week for you, right? It's come Tuesday, November 7th, somebody's dropping a new album.
Oh yes, it's going on Tuesday. I was like, it's voting day, isn't it? Do we need to vote? I was like, Virginia and Ohio really need a vote to keep a choice. Okay, and then they're like, oh yeah, my album.
Your album that you put all the time.
Yes, I'm dropping a new album. It's called She's an Angel, and it's got 14, almost all original songs except for one. That's a cover of my friend Billy Vera, who's a really great songwriter. Cover his song.
That's great. So,
follow me on Spotify, please. If you follow me on Spotify and you show me that you're following me on Spotify, you get $5 off any autograph. So, yeah.
Everyone's like, how was your Friday and Saturday?
I tell people that, but not everybody. My panel is usually the first day, not the last day.
So where will they be able to find the album on Tuesday?
Everything on iTunes, on Spotify, on Deezer, on Amazon, just every place where there's streaming involved. But it'd be great to buy a record. That would be amazing. If you can't, and I get it, everybody's on a different budget. So if you just stream it, I'll be happy as long as you're following me and subscribing. It counts so much. Okay, there's this jerk guy that I was supposed to do a duet with, but then he said I didn't have enough followers on Spotify for him to like do a duet with. So now I don't even care about like writing. I mean, I'm just like all I care about is getting more followers than he has. I'm about 10,000 away. But
all right. Well, we have quite a few people. So everybody in here who's not recording, take your phones out and go to Spotify.
Okay, just to show that guy his boss. I'm just so angry. Anyway, so funny. I'll never say his name and I'll never tell him that how much it hurt me, but it hurt me so much. And now my whole life is just wanting to just beat him at followers. So that there you go. I want to have my pretty woman moment of like, big mistake.
You've had a great story career. You've got over 1,500 characters, right?
Oh, I probably more, I think.
I mean,
I think I've done like 27.
27?
Yeah, I know. I don't count, but what is it? 1,600? Okay, I thought maybe it's like 2,700 like different voices in different like credits. I think that might be it, not actual characters. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no way you're keeping track. So,
there's a place called BehindTheVoiceActors.com, and I go on there sometimes. I used to when I was emptier inside. I would go on there and look at this because they would say who's done the most voices ever all the time. I think I'm top for women. I think I've done more than anyone. And Tara Strong's one of my best friends, so no shade there.
There has to be moments where fans come up to you and be like, "I loved you," and so, and you're like, "Yep."
Yeah. Oh my! I for a long time didn't know I was Jean in Bayonetta. I had no idea. I was just so this guy was like, he had the thing, he wanted me to sign it, and I didn't want to ruin his DVD, so I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm in this." And he was like, he just looked so confused, and he just walked away. And then he got on Google, and he was like, "No, you are on it." And I was like, "Oh, Jean, yes, I get it." Because he was like calling me Jean, and I was like, I'm not that. But then I had only been reading my character name. I'd never said my character name. And it's spelled Jeanne. So I was like, I'm Jean. And, because I'd never heard it. I wasn't working with the other actors or anything, so I didn't know. I signed it. Save me some caviar. It's not Christmas without caviar. That's Jean. Darling. I can't throw all those people back. Sorry. Hello. There's babies in here. Sorry. Hi.
Is there a character that you do that tends to get the most love at your convention table? Is it Martin? Is it Daphne?
I'm dressed like this. Yes. Don't flatter yourself, Daphne. You were never even a player. I'm not very competitive. I just like to be with my friends and solve mysteries and get my boyfriend to stop making these stupid traps.
Do you find yourself, since you have done so many, do you find yourself in an everyday conversation where you just fall into a character?
Never.
No?
No. Never. Even my kids hate it. Like my kids, I have 3 children, 6, 9, and 16, and we watch shows together. And they love Scooby-Doo so much, but there's just a golden rule that I'm not allowed to do the voice while we're watching the show. They're just like, Mom, it's creepy, it's weird, stop it. But, okay, so yeah, then I was Wonder Woman on DC Superhero Girls, so my daughter was really into that for a while, and I would go, are we watching DC Superhero Girls? Oh, Mother wants to watch it with you, it'd be wonderful. And she's like, Mom, stop it, it's so weird, stop it. But I volunteered her to school last week, and every kid was like, oh, he said that you're, and then she was like, do the voice, Mom, do the voice. I was like, oh, I don't know, will it be too weird for me? It might be creepy. She's like, Mom, just do it, please. I'm sorry.
So you have done a lot of characters like you see, and Scooby-Doo, a lot of kids-friendly shows. Has there been that moment where somebody realizes that maybe your comedy stylings are maybe a little bit not safe for work?
I know, on my Twitter I did have to put like, you know, like 18 and up. Yeah, because I do want to put my comedy reels up, and I don't want to damage any childhoods or children. My kids don't say anything like that either. Like my oldest son did a little bit, but only the clean jokes. And he would give me pointers on what I should change and what I should do. But yeah, I had to. I mean, I do my reels on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but those are like above 18.
Right, of course. I mean,
yeah.
Should be on the social media.
Yeah.
Right?
I put a little warning there, you know. But yeah, it's quite a. It's like when I saw Bob Saget's comedy for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, full houses. What was going on in that house? Yeah.
Have there been people that come up to you and are like, so I saw this reel?
Well, people are like, all I can hear is Daphne doing that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I do talk like her. Yeah, sometimes. But TikTok's been amazing. Like, I've never gotten recognized like out in the world unless somebody's like a super duper cartoon fan, and it's like that happens like maybe once a year or something. But ever since TikTok, I've been putting my comedy reels on, and like I'll be at airports, and like 10 or 12 people will stop me separately, and I was like, this is so weird. This is really like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a new Monday or something. But this one person at Starbucks was like, oh my god, I know you from TikTok. Are you Greg? And I was like, yes. And then they were like, oh my god. And then I got my cup and it said Greg on it, and I was like, I said you were a fan. Anyway. I was like, maybe somebody else wrote it on there. Maybe they said it to somebody and they wrote it. I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
So, while, I mean, you're still constantly working, you're touring, but you have a new album coming out. How do you find that work-life balance of being a working actor? Obviously, right now was a weird time.
Yeah, that's why I did a music tour now, because I'm not, doing as many shows because of the strike. So there's some shows have some kind of deal with the union where they're still doing it. So yeah.
So that's where you're kind of able to find that touring schedule because of a lighter schedule because of the strike, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of these since then, and I did a whole music tour for a month, and then I'm recording a new album this weekend. I'm finishing an album with a guy named Andy Paley who did all the music for SpongeBob. But he's actually like a giant music producer. Like he worked with Jerry Lee Lewis and like Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, and like he's worked with everyone in the music industry since the 70s, and so we're making a really great album together. It won't be out till 2025, but it's coming. But this year I've got this, She's an Angel, coming out. I have another record with Jolie Holland coming out. I'm a female producer who's amazing. And then I did a double album with this guy named Marvin Etzioni, he's worked with Counting Crows and like all these people. And then the next year, Andy Paley. If you follow me on Spotify, I put out a new song every week. So just get ready, they're coming. Yeah, there's Christmas music coming.
Christmas music.
Christmas music.
What's do you have a favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song is "Oh Holy Night," and if you go on my Spotify, you can put in that. And I recorded it a few years ago. Yeah.
So yeah, go to the Spotify.
Yes, "Oh Holy Night."
So you're 25%, almost 50%, but 25% on the way to an EGOT. Again, you are Emmy nominated.
Emmy nominated. I got a Grammy.
So you got a Grammy. So
yeah.
You got the G.
I have Emmy certificates from being on shows that got Emmys, so I don't know if that counts. I don't have the statue.
Right. So, as somebody, when you're nominated, let's be real. Is it really just an honor to be nominated, or do you really want to win? I mean, come on.
Well, I got really excited to be nominated and to get to wear a really pretty dress, and then I got to present an award to Helen Mirren. She wasn't there, but I got to. But there was all these photos of me holding the Emmy, and I'm like, it looks like I won an Emmy, so I feel like I present.
That's a.
Eric Bauza, my friend, gets nominated every year too. I'm like, I feel like they need to put he won last year, he's nominated again this year. I'm like, he's been nominated like 11 times in the last 10 years, and I'm like, how does that happen, Eric? I love him, and I want him to win, but I feel like after you won, they need to take a break from you getting nominated like the very next year. Every time I do a good job on a show, and they're like, great job, Gray, I'm like, I bet Eric Bauza's gonna get a nomination off this performance I just did, because he's nominated every time. And if he sees this, I love you, Eric, I'm sorry, but it's too many nominations.
So we do want to start taking.
I just like to tear down other people. I don't care about me. I just want to tear down.
So we are going to start taking questions, but I do have to ask before we start getting into questions. So we kind of touched upon it in the Avatar. Who is here for the Avatar: Last Airbender panel? But I have to ask this question again, and that's about how they grew up with you, or that. You babysat them, after school. What does it mean to you to be able to come to these shows and talk to your fans and hear their stories?
Well, because we record it all by ourselves, so it's hard, you forget how many people you're impacting because you're just in your home. Now I've been in my garage now for 4 years, almost 4 years. But we just don't. Until I started doing these, I never heard of people like, oh my gosh. Like my mom went through cancer and we watched this show and it bonded us, and now, or people who like watched a show with a relative who's no longer with them, and then they're like, every time I watch that show I feel my relative with me, and I'm just all these amazing touching stories, or kids who like grew up in abusive homes and they're like, you were like I didn't have positive adults around me, so I looked to your characters or any of my nurturing characters, and I was like, because I had sort of a rough upbringing too. My mom has some mental illness, which is where I got some ideas for a certain character. People were like, how did you do that so well? I was like, well, it's a long story. It takes all my life to tell. So I hear so many people just open up so much at those tables, and it's part therapy, part convention. So it's really touching. It means so much to me because I just have no idea when you're all alone.
Right, yeah. Obviously since, past 4 years now, just recording all by yourself, all by yourself in your house, and like, oh, well, what's going to happen with this?
Nobody loves me.
Hello, what's your name?
I'm
Yes, I had a beard, I did stand-up comedy. It was that particular series was really fun.
I think my question was, and I guess this goes out to a lot of Mystery Incorporated fans. If you had the chance to, meet with Frank Welker again, Mickey Cohen, Matthew Lillard, would you do a season 3?
Well, Mystery Incorporated was my favorite iteration of Scooby-Doo, and I would absolutely do it, yes. I've grown quite fond of Kate Micucci, the newest Velma, which I think she's been doing it 10 years now, so that's new to her. Yeah, but she and I are so close, and our kids are, I just adore her little boy, and she loves my kids, and we're just really close. And I don't see Mindy as much anymore, but I'd be so happy to see Mindy again. It was a good, yeah.
Thank you so much.
I just love working. I work with anybody. Everyone in our industry is really nice too. There's not anyone who I don't really love. So.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Gray.
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
I'm Rose. You met me yesterday.
Yes. I remember you.
So one of my biggest questions, you actually mentioned it earlier. You as a SAG actress, how has it been, like, over the past, I guess, almost, what is it, 7 months? Like,
The longest
It
break in
is-
history. I know.
As an inspiring voice actress, like, as you being in, like, what is SAG? What is it like not having what you've been doing for the last, most of your life?
Yeah, well, as I was saying, it's weird to me because there are some shows that aren't on strike. Like, I think Amazon must have a deal with it because I did some Invincible the other day, and I asked my agent, I was like, "It's okay to do it?" She's like, "Yeah, it's okay." I was like, "Is it okay to promote the Invincible when you're using Invincible?" She's like, "I think so," because they have it. And I'm like, "Okay." It's very confusing, but it's been really inspiring seeing the solidarity between all of us actors because honestly, they're whittling away our paychecks so much that it's like we have to. Like there's really nothing. There's nothing inspiring us to not strike. We're making the same amount of money as we would be if we stayed for what they want to pay us, which is nothing, and using AI forever, and so we never make any money ever again. So it's
Like, I can't post cosplays either, because
yeah.
SAG, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like for you guys who've been doing this for so long, suddenly having what you were kind of used to forever.
Yeah, I'm just trying to focus on, I just did a comedy special I just put it on YouTube, because I did one for Amazon last time, and people were like, I'm not Prime, and I don't have this, and I was like, I just want people to see it, that's all I want. So YouTube, I'm in total control, and I can just post reels, and I'm not beholden to any company. I didn't take any money, they didn't give me any money, so I'm just doing that, and I'm just trying to like branch out, and I've told people like, keep working on your Twitch channel, keep working on your YouTube channel, or whatever you're doing in the meantime, and then when projects start back up again, you'll have more of a following, So, but yeah, it's very strange. But I'm in complete solidarity with my fellow actors, and we have to stand strong, or else there's just not going to be anything left. I got in trouble recently for getting mad at somebody for stealing my voice and putting it on this Scooby-Doo thing they did. And they kept calling him a child, like she yelled at some kid for using her voice in the Scooby-Doo project. I was like, it wasn't a kid, it was a man. He's an adult. And also, he and I like completely patched things up. I was like, look, it's just not cool. If you had asked me, I may have just said, yeah, go ahead. Or I might have even recorded something in my garage and just sent it to him because he was, trying to make something cool, and that's great. Also, the AI sounded terrible. Like, the acting was terrible, so it was embarrassing to me. So I was like, I hope nobody thinks that's me because it's terrible. But anyway, I got in trouble for it. But I had to stand up against AI because it's just, and he was like, well, I didn't have any money, and this is the only option. I was like, do you know how many people come up to my table and do amazing voices all weekend long, and they all want to be actors, and I'm sure that if you posted something and said, I'm making this really cool thing, I bet 1,000 people would say, I will do it. I just wanted something for my reel. Yeah. So I said, that's true, you have no option. And any actor is going to be 1,000 times better than that computer thing. So, yeah. But good luck to you, Rose.
I was just wondering what you learned the most from Mary Kay that you took into the rest of your career in your life.
She was so good at voice matching. Mary Kay Bergman, who was the Daphne before me and also a very, very good friend of mine, she sadly took her life right before I got the voice of Daphne, which was very weird also because I was still grieving and I didn't want to even audition for it, but her husband was staying with me at the time because he was so distraught, and he said, "Great, you were her student. She would have wanted you to do it." And she taught me how to voice match. So I didn't listen to her tape because it was just too painful at the time. But when I went into the booth, they were like, "Great, oh my gosh, it was like Mary Kay was with you." And I feel her with me all the time. I really do. Like everything I do, I just feel her there because she was my mentor and she was my first voiceover teacher. And it's funny because I ended up doing the voice on the Pirates of the Caribbean, the redhead, Pirate Red. And that was Mary Kay's favorite ride ever, and she was a redhead. So when I got to the callback, and I was at the Disney building, and I'm like, wow, I said, "Mary Kay, this should be you. You would have just killed this, you would have loved it, and you were so good at this, and you loved this ride." And I texted her husband and said, like, "Hey, I'm auditioning for something that Mary Kay would have been perfect for, and she would have just, I can feel her with me." Oh, another thing was, I was just gonna wing it, because she was always over-prepared for everything. And I was just gonna go in there and just do, I don't know, it was only one line, so I was like, it was just like, "Quit your clacking, it's the rum they want." That's all I had to say. So I'm like, how much can I prepare for this? I'm off book already, I got it. But then I felt Mary Kay saying like, "You're always underprepared," maybe, because she was like, always just did 110% in preparing. So she's like, "Maybe you could learn some pirate slang." In my head, she was saying this, I'm not like insane. No, but in my head I was feeling her saying, "Maybe you could learn about pirate slang or something," and I was like, so I went on YouTube and I was learning pirate slang because I was thinking, I'm here, I'm waiting 30 minutes. And yeah, so I learned a bunch of pirate slang. And then I went in there and they're like, "I know it's just one line, so we were thinking we'd just have you do some improv for a while." I improv for like 40 minutes of pirate stuff. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, great, you just know every pirate word. You're so good at pirate stuff." And I was like, I love pirates. What am I going to say? I'm into it. And I think that was why I got the part. So I wrote to him and I said, "I felt Mary Kay with me today, and I hope I get this part. I can't say what it is, but I hope I get it." And he said, "Well, by hook or by crook, I hope you book the job." And I was like, the fact that you just said that right now is amazing. But then when I found out I got the part, I was doing a movie in Portland, and I texted her and I was like, "I got the part," and I was like, it's the Pirate Red on they're retooling the redhead. She's not like she's not being like human trafficked anymore. She's like actually like a really cool badass pirate. And he goes, "Oh my God, that's amazing." He said, "You know what today is? It was the anniversary of Mary Kay's passing when I found out about it." So every time I get on that ride, I'm like, there's the redhead, and there's the redhead in my, and I feel her on my shoulder all the time. Whenever I'm auditioning for something I'm scared of or something, I always feel her with me. So, and Brucey Taylor as well. I took over for Brucey Taylor on Simpsons, and Brucey was a dear friend of mine as well. And we're gonna get really into something, but I went to the psychic who said, "There's a woman here who used to have the same job as you. She's got red hair." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know who you're talking about." And I used a fake name when I saw this psychic. And Brucey had just passed like a few days before, and he said, "There's another person here who's like really new, and her name is like Shishi or Shushi, or it's a strange name." And I go, "Oh my God, yeah, I know who you're talking about." And he goes, "Well, she's saying that what you did for this other woman, you're going to do that for her as well." And I hadn't even auditioned for anything, and I was like, wow, okay, I love them both, and that would be amazing to be able to carry on the work that they did. And then about 2 weeks later, I got part of Martin Prince on The Simpsons. So I feel my little Lucy angel and my little Mary Kay angel with me all the time.
That's amazing. Awesome. Your favorite Disney ride?
Pirates was my favorite, yeah. And then the Haunted Mansion's second favorite. And I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that role too, but I went to somebody else. I can't have all the Disney rides.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Caleb. I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but what would be your best advice for somebody just getting into this career that you've been so prolific in for so long?
I used to tell people to do improv classes. I still think that would be an amazing asset. I think it's an amazing asset in any walk of life, even public speaking, like any job. Improv is great. You're thinking on your feet, you're thinking kind of outside the box. And I tell people to do plays and stuff, but now I've been telling people, because it's so different from when I started, I've been telling people, start doing things online and you get an actual following online, because they're casting so many TikTokers and YouTubers and stuff like that because they already have 1 million people who are going to watch the show just because that person's in it. And it's all about ratings right now, so I say, make your own content and put it out there and get your own people, because then you will get cast, because they're lazy and they just want to piggyback on other people's stuff. So, I never was on social media until they started casting things based on our followers. They do. They like, if there's 2 people up for a role, they'll look at how many Twitter followers, how many, I will not call it the other name, Twitter followers, YouTube, you know, they look at your followers, and I was like, I guess I'm getting on social media, because I never was on it before, and now I'm begging people to follow me on Spotify, just for that jerk. Anyway, so yeah, make your own stuff. Don't let anybody gatekeep what you can do or what you can't do. It is sort of liberating to be able to just do, like, I'm going to work today, I'm going to get on, I'm going to make this, I had this cool idea, I'm going to put it out there, and there'll be people that appreciate it. We don't get your people. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you can start making a living before you even are SAG, too. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, great. My name is Jordan. So you've been doing a lot of TV my entire childhood, everything you've ever done. I love it so much, but I've also been listening to your music a lot. And I'm a musical theater actress myself. And I was curious, like, have you ever done any musicals? And,
Oh my,
like,
that's how I
what's
got
your favorite
started.
role?
Oh my God. Yes, well, my mom was in bands growing up, so I've been singing my whole life and writing songs my whole life. My grandmother, I'm Mexican and Irish, so my
Me too. I'm Mexican.
my grandmother used to sing with Tito Puente, the Latin band. Yeah, and so I've been singing my whole life, but I started putting out records when I was like 22, I think. And then I took like a 20-year break to have 3 children. And during the pandemic, I started writing a bunch of songs. But I went to theater school. Like I went to theater high school, theater elementary school. I did my first musical when I was like 10.
What's your favorite role?
I played the stepmother in Into the Woods, and that was really festival. Yes, and I also played Avapro in The Wiz. We had to do a Mexican and white version of The Wiz because we didn't have any black people at our school. I was from Chula Vista, San Diego, so it was mostly Mexican kids. Yeah, so I was the whitest person there. But yeah, no, we did The Wiz and it was great, and he's the Wiz and he lives in arms. Yeah, it was fun, and Oklahoma, and yeah, I still sing the story with the fringe on top to my kids at night. Oh no, he lost his candy. Oh no, it's ice, it'll go. I thought it was a stray Skittle. I was like, oh God, get it. Yeah, no, but I love musicals, and I still go see them all the time on Broadway. I have friends on Broadway, and yeah.
I just love your country vibe too. I was listening to your music, I was like, not expecting that. I don't know, I was like, oh, this would make like Patsy Cline. Like,
Oh my God. Absolutely. I was in an Uber. I just told people I was in an Uber, and this guy was like, what kind of music are you playing? Because I was on tour and I had my auto harp with me, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like country. He's like, oh, I love country. I said, it's more kind of classic country though, so I like Patsy Cline. And he's like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of her. And I'm like, Patsy Cline? And he said he loved country. He said he loved country music. I was like, anyway, but yeah, it's very much like, I tell people it's like Dolly Parton, you know? Yeah, because I have a big wig and I wear these sparkly clothes, and I'm doing a new show for the RFD network where we're going to do music for the whole show. If the strike ends in time, because we're supposed to shoot in 2 weeks, I'm like, please, wrap this up. We gotta get this show. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about Broadway the other day in the green room. So to piggyback off of that, right now, and one of the things that we were talking about TV shows and movies that went on to become musicals. You know, Legally Blonde,
Yes.
Hannibal. You know, Silence of the Lambs, Mean Girls. Do you have a favorite movie that you love, that you would love to see a musical version of?
Coal Miner's Daughter was my favorite movie because I love Loretta Lynn so much, and I think that would make a great musical. Did they ever do that? Coal Miner's Daughter?
No,
They should. Yeah, I mean, it won an Oscar, and she's got such an amazing story, growing up in Butcher Holler and then becoming one of the biggest country stars in the world. Yeah,
I think
they should. I want to track at that later.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Zoe. We met yesterday, and yeah, I was a little bit curious about like your names or nicknames because I know there's Grey DeLisle, and then I've also heard like Grey Griffin. I heard like Leslie Griffin a long time ago.
No, maybe they just got to Lyle.
Maybe either way, I was wondering what your process was with like different names or whatever. If you had like more,
My process is I'm not getting married ever again. Yeah, I put out all this content as Grey DeLisle, and then I married this guy that was like, it's really important to me that you take my name, and I was like, but I have this whole career, that's DeLisle, you know, and he was like, but it's really important. I was like, all right, so then I hyphenated for a while just to get people used to the idea, then I went full-on Griffin, and then we got divorced, and I'm like, back to hyphenating, and then back to DeLisle, so now I'm back to DeLisle. It's hard to keep up though, so. Oh.
back and do that role again, like, would you want to do it again?
I love being Laura on The Weekenders. Did you guys ever watch The Weekenders? Yeah! Later days! The best thing about being Laura was, well, I just loved her like innocence and stuff, but also I loved working with Kat Susie and Jason Marsden and Phil Lamar.
Yeah.
We used to get together every week. It was Mondays were our recordings, and then Jeff Bennett would come in and do like 2 lines as one of the mean kids on the show. I was like, you have the best job ever. But I was just such a fun group of people. But I also love one of my favorite, well, I mean, obviously Azula, Daphne, and Vicky from the Fairly Odd Parents. Got it, But I also played Queen Moon on Star versus the Forces of Evil. And I love that show. It's wonderful, and not a lot of people have watched all the episodes, so I loved it.
As someone who has watched every episode,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's also Jackie Lynn Thomas on that show too. Hello.
Hi, Greg.
Hi.
My name is Jessica, and I'm just going to leave this as a...
Yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So I'm just going to leave this as a 2-parter but short question. So if 3 of your characters, Mandy, and Vicky and Azul will be in the same room, how would they interact? And 2, what are your favorite roles of Mary Kay?
Oh my goodness. Wow, Azula would annihilate everyone in the room. You wouldn't. I'd miss you, but my aim would be improving. I'll go back, you guys. Let me get my chainsaw out. Would be a stalemate. And then, Mary Kay's roles. Well, I have to say Snow White, because Snow White, I grew up, that's my favorite movie, and she took over the voice for a while, and it was, I think we shared that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
I'm Melissa, and this is a 2-part question. So the first part is, have you seen any of the Scooby-Doo films?
Yeah, Cyber Chase is my favorite. That's one I've seen. My first one that I did 23 years ago. I can't believe it. But now that I have kids, I watch so many of them. And their favorite is the one where they animated us. Like they got to see me, their mom, like animated, coming in late with a coffee. My son was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so you." Late with a coffee. So yeah. It was called like Night of the Living Voice Actor or something like that. Yeah, it was a movie with us in it. Yeah.
Well, you just answered my second part, which was, what's your favorite?
Well, the Cyber Chase is my favorite just because it's like the first one, but that's the other one was second favorite because it was cool to see myself.
Well, then, I guess another thing is with Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, Weird Al was in that.
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much.
Did you ever get to interact with him?
Yes, I know him. He sends me a birthday greeting every year, and yeah, he's amazing. He does those jib. He'll put your face in like a jib job video. He's awesome. It was so funny. A funny story about Kate McCucci, because he was texting her, and she's like, somebody keeps texting me, and I don't know who it is. Do you know who this number is? And I put it in my phone. I was like, oh, that's Weird Al, so you might want to grab that. And she's like, oh my god, I feel so bad. He's so nice. He really is one of the nicest people in the whole world. So yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, my favorite comedian, Paula Tompkins, has a funny story about Weird Al, where they were filming. Remember the Best Week Ever, like those shows on like, yeah, so he was filming those and he just had to comment on whatever happened that week. But Weird Al was filming a show next door and it was a really thin walls, like, really thin, like cheap studio or whatever. And so he knew, he's like, who's over there making noise? And they're like, oh, Weird Al's filming something. And he's like, I'm gonna go over there and yell at him as a joke, because he's so nice and it'll be funny, because he knows me. He knew Paul, So he said, I went over there and I was like, Weird, what's going on over here? You're making a lot of noise. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he said, oh, he's not getting it. I'm gonna up the ante a little bit so that he'll know that we're joking. He's like, well, it's not acceptable, Weird. You need to quiet down over here. And he was like, oh my God, I know you're right. We really need to be. And he's like, oh, he's still not getting it. I need to really, really amp it up. I know that you're doing. He's like, Weird. I am not gonna stand for this noise anymore. And he was like, finally had to go, I'm joking. I really have to tell you I'm joking. He's like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. But he said he would have just kept apologizing about how cartoonishly I yelled at him, and he was still going to apologize. So.
Hi, Gray. My name's Chang, and I met you on this Friday.
Yes.
Have you ever heard a show called Jujutsu Kaisen?
Is it anime?
Yes.
I don't know anything about anime. I felt bad. I'm so lost with these things. I'm sorry. I've never done voices for anime too, because it's a totally different contract. And anyway.
I know one character who's arrogant enough to make Mandy's mad.
Oh, really? Who's that?
He's strong, he's blindfolded, and
That's why I've already got one up on him. He's blindfolded. I was pushing him in front of Grim or something.
and he's really cocky.
Yeah.
Do you think Mandy would be angry enough that...
I'd probably call him a bonehead and get on with my life. A horrible life. My hamster and my dumb friend.
His name is Satoru Gojo, and he loved bullying everybody, and do you think he's arrogant enough to make Mandy's mad?
Nothing much bothers me because I don't care enough about people to be bothered by them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have just a little bit over 10 minutes left in our time. We're trying to get through everyone.
So
Hello!
after this, I'm going to eat some lunch until, so if there's any burning questions or anybody wants anything signed, I will be there from 2:45 to 5 o'clock. Hi! Hello! Good. I like your sweatshirt.
Thank you. So, the first time I actually heard you was not an Avatar, which is one of the New York famous book works. Emily Elizabeth, because I didn't realize you had like Clifford until. So I looked it up again. I'm like, she did that voice, and then I'm like going through your voice next. What is it like?
Emily Elizabeth when you were really little, and I was the teacher on Emily Elizabeth, and I played it.
Yeah. So.
Clean up those giant poops.
So, what is it like switching just mindsets between all of these characters, like going from like, oh, Emily Elizabeth, nice sweet girl that everybody wants to relate to as just truly wants to destroy the world.
Well, thankfully I have ADHD. So I'm able to switch into, like sometimes people go, do you want to read as one character and then go back and do the other character? I'm like, no, let's do all of them. Like on the Loud House, I go from the low level house and then I'll talk to his mom or her sister and then I'll be excuse me, old lady, you kids are driving me crazy. And then I'll be Cheryl, the lady who works in the office. Oh my goodness, Principal Huggins needs to see you. And then I'll be Mrs. Bernardo, the acting teacher.
And then I'll be Lily, the baby.
Hello, my name is Eric, Robbie Rotten. We met on Saturday.
Yes, we took a picture together too.
Amazing, yeah. So I was just gonna say, love your work. Especially, I've been very fond of a bit of Kids Next Door as well with Lizzie, the cat lady.
Yes, Nigel, I love you so much.
But alongside Scooby-Doo, which leads to my question. It has been like over 50 years since the creation, and it's like everyone in this room has had like grown up with Scooby-Doo. Like at some point, like every decade has had like a series of Scooby-Doo. So I was just gonna like wonder like what's it like to be a part of that legacy in such one of the biggest staples of pop culture of all time.
Well, sometimes when I used to say I'm a voice actor, people would go, is there anything, well, what I know you from? And I'm like, well, there was a pilot on thing, I don't know if you ever, I don't think, it was a thing that like I did Woman Number One, and it was one episode, and you're trying to tell them, they're like looking at me like, oh, okay. But when I finally got Daphne, I later on, after being here for a little while, I felt more comfortable like saying I was part of this thing. And so people would say, what do I know you from? And I was like, Scooby-Doo and Daphne. And they're like, oh my God! And that was kind of nice to have just some kind of recognition on that. Yeah, so that's good.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
So now we're 5, 6, 7. I think we have enough time.
Hi, my name is Aileen. I wanted to come up and if you talk about your heritage, another white Mexican Irish person. And just kind of if you want to talk any more about like how your heritage did come into your work or like, how you're raising your kids and like what traditions you're.
Well, my kids speak Spanish because I took care of my grandmother until she passed, and so thank goodness she was around speaking Spanish to them. And then now my caregiver speaks Spanish, and I'm like, she speaks English too, but I'm like, don't speak to them in English at all. I'll just speak to them in Spanish because my Spanish is terrible, and I want them to be fluent, and they're so fluent now. It's so great. And we're going to Mexico, and I'm like, okay, everyone there is going to speak Spanish, so Mom might need your help. Because my accent's good, and so I know like basic, and then people are like, oh, you're, okay, and then they start speaking in Spanish, I'm like, no, I just have a really good accent, I'm so sorry, please, I'm so dumb. But I think my grandmother was very, it's funny, because people who are brown sometimes are racist against their own selves. And my grandmother didn't want to, I spoke very good Spanish when I was really little, and then she was like, ay, mijita, you're so weird. Let's not talk to you in Spanish, because I want people to think that you're a gringa. And I'm like, oh, at the time I didn't know, and now I'm like, oh no. It just would have been so great to have, you know. So every year I have my resolution of like, I'm going to improve my Spanish. I'm really good at Spanish, and I'm going to get better at guitar. And you know, that's every year I fail. But now my kids tell stories about me behind my back. Like, you know, because they know that I can't understand every little thing. A lot of it I can, but some of it I can't. If they use really weird words, I can't follow it. But yeah, my grandmother, it was just sad. When I tell people that, I'm like, yes, believe it or not, you know, it's a very racist culture against themselves, you know. So, but yeah, when I lay out, she'd get so mad. She's like, get in here, get out of the sun. You know, it was terrible, but what can you do? It didn't stop me.
Thank you. Yeah, my grandmother's Mexican and she married a white guy, then to Michigan raised 5 Mexicans, and so it's always cool to hear about it.
Yes. Yeah, I always like to wait to see if somebody says something racist. And I'm like, hey, excuse me, hi.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Hello, Ms. Gray. Lovely to meet you. My name is Michael, aka Wayne Fire. Thank you. So my question is to you. What's generally your level of interest being involved in like fan films or independent films, either as an actress or writer or things like that? I imagine it varies from actor to actor. So.
Well, I am a single mother with 3 children, and so I'm so busy. Like, there are people who come by my table and go, do you have time for an interview and stuff? And I'm like, I can't live this line of people. Like, they're trying to do an interview. So in my life, I feel bad because there's 3 people who meet me all the time. And when you're talking about work-life balance, it is really hard. Like, I either on weekends I'm either doing these or playing music or doing stand-up. Sometimes I do all 3. I fly in, I do the con in the daytime, I do a set, it's comedy at night, I do the next day at the con in the daytime, and then my band needs me for a gig at night, and then, so sometimes I do like all 3 in the weekend. But during the week, I spend every night with my children. They sleep with me, I know it's kind of, but I'm like, it's time, you guys can sleep. Mommy's bed, 6 and 9. My 16-year-old doesn't sleep with me. But you know, I just try to be there for them every single night, and then I fly out again on Fridays to do these again. So people are like, do you date? And I'm like, well, what time? Sometimes people want to date me, and I'm like, after my children go to bed, I'll make you a cup of cocoa, I'll make you watch something or whatever, but it has to be like at my house. I'm not paying a babysitter, like the kids have to think that I'm here. So I can't leave them to go spend time with some person. Yeah, but so I have no life other than my children. So I don't have a lot of time to do fan stuff, but also union-wise, I have done a couple of things. Like I did My Little Pony thing. I played Derpy on this muffin thing. You know, like they did this really good animation for it. But I'm sure Zach wouldn't have been very happy when I did that. But you know, I just wanted to it was fun, and I really loved the fandom was amazing. They were really supportive and sweet, and I made a lot of friends, and so I did it for them. But I really do try to stay within the union on those kinds of things. So yeah, but time-wise too, it's hard. Like during the holidays, I'm not going to be doing these because I don't want to be away from my kids around the holidays. So I'm going to be doing Zooms, like probably every night of the week. I'll be doing the Zooms at night, and just after my kids go to bed. So late night Zooms. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Whoa! Cool, we're ready for kickoff.
Yes, hi.
Alright. I was wondering, what is your general interest if you were to get into another story of an avatar and one of the characters secretly had a kid and it becomes a popular story?
I know they're doing a movie for Netflix, and I completely, I think it's awesome. I think it would be fun to put the voiceover people as like maybe the Emperor and the players or something. That would have been fun, like a little Easter egg like that. But I'm so like behind. I mean, I feel like Asian American actors haven't gotten. There's just like not a lot of projects in Hollywood. Everything's white, you know. So I am so happy that there's something where we can use our Asian American actresses. They're phenomenal, and I know so many great actors who haven't gotten a chance to be even in their own. Sorry. So And also people are going, what about the animation? I was like, no, hire an Asian American actress for that too, because I got my shot. I feel totally blessed to have been a part of this thing, but it's time. It's their turn. It's their turn. They need to step forward and take those roles.
Hello. Nice shirt.
Hi, Noah. How you doing?
So excited, right?
Oh, jeepers, you do that voice so well. I love it.
So, I'm under the impression that you need to be in Western cartoons.
Yeah, you should. But it's not, I mean, you know, if you're really good, it's not hard. They'll tap hardly. Yes, yeah.
And on Billy and Mandy, when Scooby was out there, he said, Mandy made fun of the way he talked. They didn't show what she said. What would she have said?
I call him a bonehead or something. Well, you like to chew on bones, so you are a bonehead.
Thank you so much.
First off, I have to say thank you so much for all the work you've done, especially thanks Sam on Danny Phantom.
Oh my gosh, you work close all the time. I love that show. Yeah.
Fantastic. As a little critter, I have to ask, what was it like to play Delilah Briarwood? What special character did you
It was
do?
supposed to be some celebrity, and my friends, those are all my friends. I grew up, I've been doing cartoons with those people forever, and I love Sam used to be a director before that whole thing took off, you know, and he was like, I'm leaving directing. I was like, why did they fire you? He was like, no, actually I have a thing going on, and I was like, now I'm like, oh my god, now I know what the thing is. Anyway, but it was supposed to be a celebrity. They said, great, this woman can't come in. It was during the pandemic. Do you have a way to record from home? And I had a garage, and I was like, I've been doing shows from my garage. I'll do it. So they said, okay, just do the scratch, and then we do have to hire this other woman. And I was like, that's fine. I love you guys, and I'm happy that you're doing the show. So I did it, and then the lady just couldn't show up to the session. So Amazon was like, let's just use her. She's doing great. So, and then the fans came forward and were like, yes. And Amazon was like, wow, the fans really like this person. I was very, very, very vindicated. The world for you. I'll have to have you for dinner sometime with Silas, and I do mean have you for dinner.
Hello, Handy Manny. Are you Handy Manny? Are you Handy Manny?
Oh man, you look amazing. I love it. Hi. Well, regular cartoons like Nickelodeon, you can be really broad and be like, you know, but like in a video game, if you did that, people would be like, what's going on? You know, you have to be a little more realistic, you know, just kind of, you know, sometimes there's some real hard characters on there. You wouldn't do that for that. So, and then movies, well, that runs the gamut. You can be like, I was in, like, the Pixar movie, Onward. I played the little pink biker fairy, and she was like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, you talking about me? You know, so that was like kind of broad, but it was a movie. And then there have been other movies that I've done. I was in The Book of Life. I played the abuelita, you know, so I was like,
You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. I was a beast in the arena. A beast!
So that's a little more realistic. I don't know, the films can go either way, but most of the video games are more real, and cartoons are more cartoony. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good question.
Thank you. All right. Last question. Hello.
Hi, Gray, I'm Roxy.
Hi.
As a fellow Mexican as well, you know, I understand the struggle of, you know, the light skinnedness, so I get you completely.
I feel like an imposter, because I'm just like, you know, I know.
Well, my question is about Clifford. Playing Elizabeth, how was working with John Ritter?
Oh my gosh, what a doll. He was like the nicest person in the whole world. It's not, I don't know, I'm not going to start, it's too weird. But I ended up meeting his son, and I thought he was so nice that I thought he was like a crew member of the thing we were working on. We were working on Gravity Falls, and we were in the waiting room, and I was just sitting there, and we were talking for like 45 minutes, and then later on, somebody was like, I was like, oh, that guy's so good. Is he like one of the engineers? And they're like, no, he's Josh Ritter. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. So anyway, yeah, Jason Ritter, yeah. And Josh Ritter's a musician, but I do.
It's funny how not a lot of people know that they were related.
And he looks like his dad too. Oh my god. Yeah, so then I ended up reaching out to him him on Twitter and was like, "Hi, you were so nice to me, and I had no idea, but your dad was lovely, and I had some great memories with your dad." And anyway, but I'm sure everybody's like, "Your dad, your dad, your dad," you know. So my son, he's an artist, and people meet him and like, "Your mom, can you know your mom?" And he's like, "Well, you have a unique for every person who asks me to say hi to you," you know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.